Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me here today. I see a lot of people coming in. I see Kathy, Jennifer, Patricia, Debbie, Melissa. Hi, Caroline. Good morning. Well, thanks everyone for joining me today. I am going to be showing you how to stitch my new Marie mini wallet. It is a sewing project. It's very quick and very easy. Hi, Ginger. Laserbee Studios here. Thanks for joining me, guys. Yvonne, Diane, thanks everyone. I bet it's hot where a lot of you are. It's going to be really hot today here in Indiana. After this, I'm going to be in the pool, I think, for the rest of the day. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. A few things I want to talk about before we actually start to stitch the wallet. This is my June demo. So there is a giveaway, $20 gift card to embroiderygarden.com. You have to type #garden, just like it is up here, to be entered into the contest. Remember, only type it in once. You type it in multiple times, all it does is just kick it out. And at the end, I'll pick a winner for the $20 gift card to embroiderygarden.com. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Joan. Hi, Bonnie. So a couple things that are upcoming for Embroidery Garden. On the 27th, which I believe is next Tuesday, Caroline is having another brand new virtual class through Embroidery Garden. It's her hexagonal star topper. I don't have my sample done, but I'm going to put a link here to the class and you can sign up for it. What Caroline will do is she's going to talk you through how to lay it out, how to cut it out, and how to stitch it. It's a really cute topper, and there are bonus instructions to create little hexagon placemats to match. So it's a fun, great class. It is sewing, so please come join us. On July 13th, Embroidery Garden is hosting the brand new Designs and Machine Embroidery virtual event. It's free. It's called Fusion Fix, where embroidery and crafting collide. It's all about using vinyl, heat transfer vinyl, and those other type of products and rhinestones, etc., in your embroidery. It's really cool. It's a brand new event, and I'm hosting it on the 13th. You do have to sign up for it, so I'm going to put a link in here to register for the Fusion Fix event. You will have 48 hours, actually get a little bit more because it's on a Thursday, to rewatch and shop. You just have to sign up to get the links. You also will get some discount codes during that event. On July 15th, I have already planned out my July demo. And what I'm going to do in July, it's going to be a little bit more machine specific. You are going to have either a Luminaire, Brother Luminaire 3, or the Baby Lock equivalent, or a Luminaire that's been upgraded to a 3, or Brother PE Design 11, or Baby Lock Palette 11. And what I'm going to actually do is, if you are familiar with these machines or software, you know that within the machine, there are fills that you can use to do quilting, etc. Well, Cindy Hogan, who is a friend of mine, who is Brothers software specialist, came out with 3 sets of fills. This is one of them, little strawberries. It's adorable. I have the summer collection, which this one is in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use these fills in PE design to bring them in and line them up on the front of my zippered bag set. So you can see on this one, I'll hold it up a little bit closer. You can see where I have the fill matching perfectly with this little line that stitches up here. You can see that you don't see any of the ends of that quilting fill because I have made them where they're going to wrap around into the seams all the way around. Really cool. Cindy has, I don't know, she's got flamingos, she's got bunny rabbits, she's got just all kinds of things, sunglasses, beach balls, just a whole variety of things. So we're going to talk about that next month. So if you're follow Embroidery Garden on its Facebook page or you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you will get notified as soon as I go live with those. Anne says she's registered. That's great. I think you're really going to enjoy this new event by Dime. All right, so that's really basically all that I wanted to talk about, all that I have coming up in the next few weeks. So let's talk about the project we're going to do today. And it's my Mini Marie wallet. It's a wallet. It's a sewing project that I just put out. It's a small wallet. Let's see. Let's look inside because there are places for credit cards. You can even put some folded money down here in the front if you want. You can put more than one card in these little slots. It closes with either a snap, a cam snap, or a, let me hold it up here. This is one of Cam Snap's magnetic snaps. They're really cool. And this one I made out of a jelly vinyl. I got this from Plaid Bow Company. And also this cool little keychain. These are becoming quite popular right now. They're called a beaded keychain. Basically, you get this whole thing here, minus the beads, and you unscrew this little ball at the end, just unscrew it, slide the beads on, screw it back on, and you've got an adorable little keychain. So I'll talk about that a little bit more. Let's see, I'm looking to see different comments coming through. Everyone's getting their #garden in. Good. All right, so I want to show you some more samples of this Mini Marie wallet. So let me go over to the table and let's look at a few. So they have to be made out of a non-fraying material. These are not made to stitch out of fabric. So you want to use something like cork, which these 3 are. This one is a faux leather. These 2 are marine vinyl. And this is what I call that jelly vinyl. That's what they call it on their website. So it needs to be something that's not going to fray, and it can't be fabric. So those are kind of like your choices. Some of these, again, I did use the magnetic snap-on. This one's a little hard to see because I use the exact same vinyl in here, the little credit card slots. And you're going to have the option to embroider on it. And the set includes an embroidery placement file to get your embroidery exactly where it needs to be centered and lined up. So these 2 are embroidered. That's, an option or not. We're going to talk about how to do that here in just a second. A couple of other ones. This is a really cool cork. You can kind of see the metallic in it. And then inside, I've got the 2 pockets with black cork on the inside. So, you can mix and match. This one does have faux leather, but I easily could have used a different color for these credit card slots. I could have used a different color for the inside. It's kind of up to you, but you do, again, need to use something that is non-fraying. And what I want to show you this one. This is a vinyl. Can't remember exactly where I got it. It's really cool, though, really shiny. really like it, but when I close it, kind of look at the edge here. It kind of bends and creases. So this really wasn't a good choice. It needs to be something that, is a little bit soft and has a little bit more movement. On these, you can definitely see the difference on the edge. Even the cork makes a nice curve as the flat comes around and attaches. This just really wasn't a great choice, but I do like it. I do like the material. All right, so let's talk about how the wallet actually gets made. I'm going to move my samples out of the way a little bit. I'm going to leave these embroidered ones here because we're going to talk about embroidery here pretty soon. And the pattern is on Embroidery Garden's website, embroiderygarden.com. It's called the Marie Mini Wallet. It's going to be right there on the front page. So how is the wallet made? There are templates for the wallet. And I know it's hard to see with the cutting mat and the acrylic templates being clear. So I'm just going to kind of roll out some of this vinyl that I have so you get a better look at the templates. This is actually the vinyl I'm going to be using today to stitch my sample wallet. So there are 3 templates. You have a piece C. This larger template is piece A and B. So you actually use this template to cut 2 pieces. And then this one is D. They will come with paper on the backside. And all you do is, use your fingernail or a little straight pin just to pull a corner up. And then you can pull this right off. And then you have crystal clear little templates. So there are a couple of different ways to do it. You can, what I like to do is go from the back side of my material. You can lay your templates down and you can trace around them if you wanted to, using, a pin or something, trace around them, cut them out. On the straight parts, you could use your rotary cutter. Or, you could do it by hand with scissors. You want to be very accurate, though, when you cut these out. So you have that option of either kind of tracing and cutting, tracing and using a straight edge rotary cutter. I want to show you how to use this piece, the one that actually has pieces A and B. You can see it a little bit better this way. So you need 1 piece of each of these. And you would cut 1 big full piece for this. These little dots here mark where the snaps are going to go. The snap on the flap and then the snap down here at the bottom where the 2 will connect. So you have marks for that. On this one, let me hold it up a little bit. Maybe you can see it better. It says cut on dashed line for piece B. So basically what that means is you're cutting A is around the entire template. B, you can get a straight edge, on your vinyl or cork, whatever you're using, and line up that dashed line with that straight edge there. Whoops. And then cut around, and then it's cut here. So that's your piece B. It kind of saves on the number of templates you need. So I've gone ahead and I've cut my pieces out. Let me get this out of the way. And again, like I said, it's a total of 4 pieces. Here's piece A, B, C, and D. And as I said earlier, you could, if you wanted to, like on this one, I did the inside in a different color, so you could kind of mix and match if you wanted to. But these are the pieces that you start with. So after they're cut, then you're ready to start to sew this together. There is an option to cut them with a scan and cut or a different cutting machine. There are SVG files included. The templates are included also. Yes, they do have to be shipped to you. But what I found when I was using different materials, because I've made a lot more than the ones that I've shown you, that my cutting machine would not cut through some of the materials I wanted to use. So I ended up having to use templates for those materials that my ScanNCut would not cut through. All right, so again, we have our 4 pieces that we need. We are machine sewing this together. A couple of handy things to have. Going to be a ruler, and I like to use my little embroidery garden ruler. For one reason is because it's small. It's 2.5 by 6.5. And you want a ruler, though, that has 1/8-inch markings. So this ruler has, here's 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. You want the 8s because we're going to have to do a little bit of measuring when we begin to lay these pieces on top of each other and stitch them together. You're going to want maybe, some of these sewing clips to kind of, after you get your pieces placed, to hold them in place before you stitch them. At some point, I'm going to use a glue stick. Glue sticks are not going to hurt your machine. They're not going to hurt your product, either the vinyl or the cork you're going to be using. And, I'm going to be using this to mark another placement line, and I'll show you how I do that later. But let's talk about the embroidery, because if you want to embroider on it, you're going to have to do that first. So what I included is a file for you to get placement on the wallet flap. Now this is for a 5x7 hoop, but I'll explain how a 4x4 hoop could easily embroider a logo on here. It's 5x7 because basically the wallet pieces are wider than 4 inches. It's basically about 4.25. So instead of me taking the time today to actually embroider out a design on here, what I did was I went to my software and I printed out a template. So, basically this is my hoop, and the first placement line it's going to stitch is this rounded corner shape here. So you would hoop a piece of cutaway stabilizer. And when I say cutaway, I'm talking about, that papery type of stabilizer, not the no-show mesh. Use, a nice cutaway stabilizer. After you've stitched your placement line, you will take your piece A and you're going to line it up. So this would be my hoop, and all I've stitched is this first placement. Take my piece A, place it in that placement guide, secure it down, and you could secure it down with either glue, and you're only going to want to put the glue on the back side, like basically in this area here where you're going to be embroidering, to get it to stick down to your stabilizer. Or you could use some tape to hold it down, but be careful when you're using tape and you're using vinyl or you're using cork. Some tape might leave a residue, or it might mar your vinyl or your cork in some way, especially if you go to tear it off. And, it all depends. There's lots of different varieties and qualities of cork and vinyl out there. So after you have it secured, then you're just going to stitch your monogram. When you bring this file into your software, you're going to have this little box. So it's just a 2-step design, basically. It's this outline for you to line it up. And inside this little box is basically a placement. You do not stitch this little box. This is just to get your monogram in there. I see someone put down sticky. You could use sticky. I'm not a big sticky type girl for stabilizer, so I tend to go with the cutaway, something a little bit heavier. You also want to make sure that, see on this design, this was a little bit denser, a little bit more stitches. You're going to notice that if you stitch on marine vinyl or, cork sometimes even, if you have something that has a lot of stitches in it, like this one, is just an R, so it doesn't have that many stitches in it, it might kind of buckle or wave. That's why I like to use a heavier stabilizer than sticky. So you've brought this into your software. You've got your monogram in here, and this is where it needs to be centered on this piece. Again, you are not going to stitch this box out. It is stitches. When you open it up, you will not stitch it out. You will skip over it. Which software do I use? I basically use either P Design Brothers software, or I use Dime's Perfect Embroidery Pro software. So again, and then that's all you do is line it up, stitch out the monogram. So basically, this was, how this stitched out. Let's say you only have a 4x4 hoop, because this is for 5x7. Let's just say you have a 4x4 hoop. You can still get your monogram done. This little box here is 1.5 inches high. You don't want to put anything on here higher than 1.5 inches. Both of these designs that I embroidered on here are 1.5 inches high. You're going to notice the width here. You don't have to stay within this box. You can go out towards the edge more if you wanted to. Say I did this, and maybe I also wanted to embroider a couple little flowers, on each side. I still have room to do that. I would say, stay within 1/2 inch on either side of this outline, because you don't want to get too close to the edge when you're doing your embroidery. But if you only have a 4x4 hoop, you can open this design in software. And once you get it opened up in the software, you're really only going to be using this box again to line up your file, your monogram, whatever you're putting on the front of it, and save whatever you've created to put on the front. Then you can print this out. You still need this printed out at 5x7. And you can kind of line it up basically like this. I would put this underneath my cut piece underneath here, line it up, and I'm just going to kind of pretend maybe I'd go to a window or something and line it up so I could see that underneath there. And then I would mark the center. And I'm marking the center of the box. So I know this is 1.5 inches high. I would measure 3/4 inch, which I actually did right here. I drew a dark line. So this actually, where these two intersect, this line here, my vertical and the horizontal line, that would be my center, and that would be where I would need to embroider my monogram. And that's how you could do it in a 4x4 hoop. Erin wants to know about using a cutaway floating under sticky. Again, you can do this any way that you want. My preferred method is to hoop cutaway and then, basically float this on top. If you want to do it a different way and use sticky and a cutaway, that's totally up to you. Okay, so we're going to get ready to start stitching this. And first, I'm going to be using piece B and piece C, which is this piece. And again, when you do this, you want to make sure that you're measuring correctly and accurately. One other thing I did want to mention about supplies needed, I'm going to be using a foot on my sewing machine that has a guide on it. And see that little guide right here? This is a little black bar. Now, this is my preferred foot to use. And any, machine feet, there are tons of them that have a little guide on it. Because when we start to sew, I like to have this guide running along the piece that I'm stitching on to keep an accurate, consistent seam. This is going to be important when we are stitching around the entire wallet. I want you to see this top stitching here. You are going to want to keep a nice, consistent seam. Some people can do it, with a different foot. That's, whichever foot works best for you. This one happens to work best for me, one that has a guide on it so that I can keep my fabric in place. So again, this is piece B, this is piece C, and I'm going to line them up. I want to turn it this way so that piece C is 3/8 of an inch from the bottom of B. So using my little ruler, I've got my 1/8 inch marks. Let me get this lined up at 3/8. And then this is going to be put here. So basically I measured 3/8 of an inch from the bottom of this piece C to the bottom of piece B. I also want to make sure it's centered side to side. And side to side is going to be a 1/2 inch on either side. The instructions are telling you all of this also. So let me just make sure that I've got a 1/2 inch here. And I need to scoot this piece over just a smidge. Make sure I've got my 1/2 inch here. I was on my wrong mark over there. So there's my 1/2 inch here. Go back, and there's my 1/2 inch. Double check again that I have my 3/8 inch mark here. And once everything is lined up, I'm going to use some of my little clips just to hold it in place so I can get it over to my machine. And what we're going to do is we're going to stitch piece C to piece B using an 1/8 inch seam right along here. And I'm only stitching from the edge of piece C to the other edge of piece C. So let's go over to the machine. Let me get my foot on. Get my threads together here. And again, I'm using that guide on my foot right here, lined up with this piece so that I can get a nice consistent seam. Let me get started here. Let me get everything, make sure everything's lined up. I am going to back stitch at the beginning and end. Move my clip here. I move both of them now that it's started. And of course, I'm having a little bit of trouble. I haven't stitched using this vinyl yet. And let's bring it back over to the table. I was having a little bit of trouble stitching on this vinyl. I haven't done one out of this material yet. I probably should have tested it. But you can see I have it stitched on here. The next piece that is going to get stitched on is piece D. And piece D is going to go. First, let me answer a question. I see Marcia's asking, is there a letter on that foot to identify it? Well, on mine, there is a C on it. I actually think it's an overcast foot. You know, again, it doesn't really matter. A lot of different feet have that guide on them. And that's all that matters is that guide. You probably have one that came with your machine that has a little guide on it. And again, maybe you don't need to use, the guide. Wilma, I'm using a size 80-12 needle. And I have put my machine, the length, I bumped it up to a 3.0. Hi, Karina. Thanks for joining me. So to get piece D on, you need to measure down 2 inches from the top of piece C. So again, I could take my little ruler and let me measure down the 2 inches. I'm lining it up with the top of this piece. My ruler is 2.5 inches, so I'm actually going to line up the 1/2 inch mark there. And now to mark this so that I know exactly where to sew, I'm going to use this little tool. It's actually a turner tool, but for this vinyl, I noticed that I could just kind of drag it along there, and it made a mark that I can see. You may not be able to see it, but it made a little mark that I can see. So I'm going to line this piece up with that mark. And on this piece, 1 second here. Oh, I'm sorry. When I make that 2-inch mark down from this piece, I don't place my next piece. I'm just going to stitch along that mark. This is what's going to create the top credit card pocket. So basically, I'm going to stitch along there, and it's going to keep the card from going down too far. I got a little bit ahead of myself. So let me go back and stitch this. And again, I'm having a problem stitching through this. I'm going to try doing something. I'm going to try putting a piece of paper underneath and see if that helps. Again, I should have tested this before I used this particular vinyl. I haven't used it, but I guess, it kind of, if something happens for me, it could happen for you, and then you would have to figure out, something to do. So I'm lining up my needle with that mark that I made. And I am going to back stitch. Oh, no, it's not the underside that's the problem. It's the top side that's the problem. Someone suggested a Teflon foot. Let me run and get my Teflon foot and see if that's going to help. All right, I got my Teflon foot. It doesn't have a guide on it, but we're going to see if it helps. I've never had this problem before stitching through vinyl. But again, this is a different vinyl that I'm using, and of course, it only happens when you're live. Let's go ahead and try the Teflon foot. Actually, I don't think I've ever stitched with my Teflon foot, so it's going to be an experiment. And if I can't get this to stitch, I'm just going to end up walking through this. All right, so here's the Teflon foot. And look, how amazing is that? I have never, ever used my Teflon foot. So when you have problems stitching with vinyl, get that Teflon foot out. All right, so now, whoops, went to the wrong camera. So now I've stitched the line there. Let me grab my scissors. The only problem is that foot doesn't have a guide on it for me. So that's going to make me have a little bit of a problem. All right, so now this is the next piece. This is piece D. And to line that up, I'm going to measure 1 inch from the very bottom piece. And place this down, and there's going to be a 1/4 inch on either side of this piece that I just put down. Let me double check there. Double check here. Go back and make sure my 1 inch is there. I am going to use a clip to kind of hold it in place, because when you're taking your pieces to the machine, you want to make sure they don't move on you. Norma says it helps to see the problem. Yeah, it does. But for me, I start to get a little frazzled because, it's something different. But hey, the magic of the Teflon foot, who would have known? So now again, I'm going to stitch 1/8 of an inch away from here. My problem is going to be that I don't have a guide on this foot, and I can line it up different ways, with the center mark here. I could probably do that and just move my foot over now. A couple of clicks. Yeah, I'm going to try that. All right. That's going to work. Look at this. We're figuring things out as we're going along here. Back stitch. Back stitch. And another thing I like to do when I'm sewing things like this too is I don't like to cut my thread. I like to lift the needle, lift the foot, and pull it away and cut the threads. That's just kind of something I like to do. Cut this thread, and we'll go back over to the table. All right, so this section is done. So now we have this section, and we still have our A section. What we need to do now is we're going to go ahead and on the A section, we're going to go ahead and install the 1/2 of our snap in, because it's going to be so much easier to do it now than later. And let me show you that. Like if we wait until the very end to install both snaps, we will wait until the end to install this one. But if we wait until the end to install this one, you're going to have to get your tool down inside of the wallet. Now, you may be able to, you may not, depending on the tool that you use. So instead of waiting and doing this one at the end, we're going to go ahead and do it now. There will be a reason, and I'll tell you later why we wait and do the one on the flap at the end. So I am going to be using cam snaps. I got my handheld mini press that I'm going to be using, but I'm going to do the magnetic snap too. So what you're going to need are 2 caps. These are 14 millimeter. And then you have the female, and this one kind of has an indent in it. And then this one is the male. You can see where it's raised right there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to just put the female one into this the section down here. I am going to want the cap to be on the wrong side. And all I did was just stick it through there. How did I get this really nice hole there? After you've cut it and marked it, you can use a hole punch to punch it. I did that. If you're using the SVG files, it will cut that little hole out for you. Jennifer says she likes the magnetic snaps. I do too. They're just really, I don't know, more professional looking, I guess I want to say. The plastic snaps work great. They're fine, but the magnetic one is just a little bit more professional looking in my opinion. All right, so I'm going to take this one, and this one is the one that has like the big prong on it, and put it down into the cap. Now, when you install these and you're using cam snaps, what you get is you buy the dies for the magnetic snaps and the size magnetic snaps you're using. So I'm using the 14 millimeter ones. And the top piece screws in. And then the bottom piece, let me see if you're going to be able to see this. Since I'm using the female where it goes in, you have to use the die that has the little nub in the center pointing upward and out. So I'm just going to place this in here. It's going to go upside down because this part of the snap, the female, has to fit into the stud part down there. And make sure it's in there. And then the rounded dome cap fits into this section here that's kind of rounded. So I got everything lined up, and I'm just going to press down. And this part of the snap is installed. When we're ready to do the other one, I'm going to have to switch out the die, but we'll do that when we're ready to install the other snap. And I better put these over here so I don't lose them. All right, so there is that snap installed. The other side, it's just the cap on it. All right, so now the next thing we need to do is we need to get these two pieces together. So I turned A right side down, and this other section, this BCD section that we stitched, put it right side up on top of it. The most important thing is you want all the outside edges to line up. So I'm going to be looking at it from the front and the back several times. And to keep these together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little glue stick and just kind of put it in this area here to keep these pieces from shifting. Because when you get over to your machine to do this last sewing step, you don't want it to shift any because you're going to notice it. So you want it to be nice and secure in place. And, don't go, past down here putting your glue down. Basically, all you're doing, I'm going to stay within, this area. And again, the most important thing is line it up. Take your time to line up the edge. I'm going to, again, look at it from the front side, the back side, make sure it's lined up. Press that down, and I'm going to put a little bit more glue coming down here. I don't want to go past where, this piece is going to end down here because I don't want glue on this part of the wallet. All right, so I think that's going to be good. Again, make sure everything is lined up, and I am going to put some clips on there because I don't want anything to shift. Let me start getting my little clips, and I'll go around and start to make sure that the edge is good. The most important thing is making sure that that edge, your corners are good. Let me just use a few of these little clips. So don't remember to get your #garden in. Cam snaps, yes, I am using cam snaps. There is also, if you didn't know, an embroidery garden cam snap bundle that includes a table press and dies for snaps, rivets, etc. Judy at Cam Snaps put it together. All right, I'm just going to go down, I don't know, about to here, because we have to take this bottom part of the wallet and it's going to get folded up. Make sure that you don't, get any of this folded up. It's going to fold right up against that bottom edge. And again, make sure everything lines up really nice. I'm looking to make sure that this edge lines up really nice. And let's see, I don't have any more small clips. I guess I got one right here. And the last step of the wallet, the last sewing step, I'm making sure that this corner and this corner are even. So the very last step now is I'm going to be starting here at the bottom, back stitch all the way around, and back stitch here. And this is why I like that foot too with the guide, because that would give me a really nice, even, consistent seam. Using this Teflon foot, I'm probably going to get a little wavy on it, but that's okay. You still see how the wallet gets put together. Now, the reason I didn't put that other part of the snap, install it here, is because when we are stitching around, your foot is probably going to hit that snap and throw you off there a little bit. What I do like to do is, after I have this all together, I'm going to take my hole punch, because the hole is only punched here on the outer piece. Line it up there, and I'm getting my hole punched through both pieces now. And that's where my snap's going to go after I've stitched around. Right. Okay. I see Norma saying, if you are watching on YouTube And underneath the video, there's a description and it says, see more. You can click on that. It's going to open up the whole menu. And I've linked to everything. I've linked to the can snap tools. I've linked to the punch. I've linked to a lot of different things on there. And I also wanted to mention that the Marie mini wallet is on sale until July 1st. And Julie says she needs to get the magnetic snaps and dies. Yeah, but you could also use, a lot of people have the plastic snaps, the cam snaps for plastic snaps. They work fine too. I mean, I used it on, let's see, these three, and it works perfectly fine. So let's go over to the machine, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch around. And remember what I said, I don't have the guide on this foot. You joined a little bit late. I had to go change my foot. I'm kind of lining this up to see how it's going to look. I may move my needle over. Oh, I can't. I'm at the very edge. So we're going to see how it goes. So one thing that I like to do when I'm stitching something like this, let me get my thread out of here. I want to pull my bobbin thread to the top. I'm trying to get this lined up how I want it lined up. Put down. I'm going to take my top thread. This is the one coming off the machine. Press needle down. Press needle up. I'm going to pull on that thread and now get this bobbin thread up to the top side of the wallet. I'm getting both of my threads underneath that foot off to the side here. And what this is going to do is it helps to prevent, that nasty little knot that you'll get sometimes when you start sewing a straight stitch, and especially going through, this isn't really thick, but it is 3 layers. Karina, great comment. She said, if I move the needle the other way, I can use this as the guide. So let's just kind of see how that's going to work. And let me move my needle the opposite way. And look at that. Karina is a bag maker. If you don't follow Karina Paulson, you really should. She is a great bag maker, and she just gave a fantastic tip. So now I'm just moving my needle to the opposite side, and I want to get it over as far as I can because I really wanted to use like an 1/8 of an inch seam. I am going to bring my thread back up again because I moved my needle, so I want my thread in the correct spot. So needle down, needle up. Pull that top thread, brings that bobbin thread up. I can grab it. And get this down underneath here. I'll lift my foot up just a minute here to get everything. Figure out what threads I've got here. Oh, that's right from that other time that I put the needle bobbin down, or I brought the bobbin thread up. I'm just going to go with this for right now. I'm going to move this clip, and I am again going to backstitch. What a difference that Teflon foot made, doesn't it? And I'm going to be removing my clips as I go. You want to go very slow as you go around this curve. And again, I'm not doing it the way that I normally do it. So You're probably not going to get the same exact results that I got on my other wallets because I'm used to doing it a different way with a different foot. I'm down this side, just lifting my foot up a little bit just to be able to pivot well. And remove that clip. And when I get to the end, I'm going to want to back stitch. And again, I'm not going to cut my thread. I'm going to lift my needle, lift my foot, pull it out, cut my threads, and then we'll trim it up here in just 1 second. So we're back over to the table. Jeanette wants to know the type of vinyl I'm using. So to make the wallet, these were made out of marine vinyl, made out of cork. This one's cork. This one is faux leather. This vinyl, this they call it jelly vinyl, is from Plaid Bow Company, and that's where I got this vinyl at too. So know that if you get this vinyl, you're going to have to probably use your Teflon foot. This is their matte vinyl. The jelly vinyl, I didn't have a problem. I used that foot that I started using, at the very beginning. And, this is a little translucent, kind of cool. The lighting isn't that great. This is a really pretty, like seafoam green color. All right, so let me trim up the threads here on the wallet. And it looks like I had some skip stitches here along the side here. But, just, be consistent when you're doing your wallet. Be consistent when it's coming around. The last step we're going to do now, or the next to last, we're going to install that other part of that magnetic snap up here. So again, to use this, I have to change out this die because we were using the one to install the female side. So all you do is unscrew it, the bottom piece down here, and it comes out. And let me grab the other piece, and you can see this one, it kind of makes a little dip inward. I'm going to use that and just slide it in, tighten the screw. I always like to double check to make sure how it's going to close so that I know the cap is going to go here on the outside part. And the part that is the male part we're putting on this time, maybe you can see that little raised area. It's going to go through there, and I'm going to just kind of put this cap on it. And now, since this is the raised area, and this is the piece that I just put in that has the little depression in it, I'm going to line this up in there. I have to turn it because it's easier for me to do it this way. Make sure it's lined up when you put it in there. The cap is at the top, and I'm just going to press down. Okay. And this piece is put in. So now I've got my two pieces in, and they just kind of go together really easily like that. And that's, how easy it is to make the little wallet. I'm looking for, it's in here. These are just like some fake cards, but, they slide in behind there. Another one can slide in the front. You can, get more than one in there. So let's say I put, a couple back here, a couple, in this area. You could even put some here, a driver's license down in there, or some folded money, whatever. So the wallet now could be done like this. If you want to go one step further and put in a little eyelet so that you could, attach a split ring, a swivel hook in there, something like that. Then we're going to put in a grommet, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And let's see, Murtis, and I see people are asking about, okay, these little beads. They came from Plaid Bow Company. They have the beads, they have the beadable keychain that you put them on. So it's Plaid Bow Company. And Karina said, the longer stitch length on the thicker part will keep the stitches from skipping. That's true. I had it set at a 3.0 on my machine. Probably need to go up to a 3.5. But that's another great tip. The jelly vinyl also came from Plaid Bow Company, as did this vinyl, which I believe they just call it a matte vinyl. Marsha wants to know if those magnetic snaps are from Sally Tomato. No, these are from Camp Snaps. Camp Snaps sells magnetic snaps. And that's where they came from. Because I'm using the Camp Snaps tool with the correct size dies, and these are 14 millimeter snaps. So if you wanted to add a little grommet here on the side, I've got some grommets from from Camp Snaps. And I have the grommet dies. These are 4 millimeter grommets. So I'm using the 4 millimeter dies. So to start, I'm going to make a little hole, and I'm going to increase this. Let's see. I'm going to put it up to the 4 because I have 4 millimeter grommets. And I'm just going to, with my wallet shut, I'm just going to hold it on its edge, and I'm going to make a placement for this right at the top. You know, stay maybe 1/8 inch away from your stitching. And I'm making a hole. It's going to make it easier to get my grommet in there. And open up the wallet, and there you can see my little hole there. And let me get my tool out because we have to change out the dies. Gonna unscrew this one from my magnetic snap, and let me place it somewhere where I'm going to remember what that one is. And then this top one unscrews. And I'm going to put in the dies that I need. Top one's going to screw in. Bottom one, it just sits in there, and I have to tighten that outside screw. The grommet that I'm going to put in, or eyelet, whichever you want to call it, has 2 pieces to it. So one piece looks like this, and the other piece is kind of just more of a ring. All right, let me get my little bag here. I'm going to put the one that has the, I don't know what I call that. I guess the prong part of it really on the outside. It's like that. And see how nicely it went in there and how nicely it is on the inside since I did that hole. So you can really see how it's coming out nicely there. I'm going to take the ring, put it over the top, get my press ready here. And I want to double check the way that it's going to go. And I'm putting the prong part of the press through the grommet, and now I'm just going to press down on it. Make sure everything's lined up and just press down. And look how nicely that grommet went in. So now when I close my wallet, I'm able to get a either a split ring, or I can clip something into there or something, but the little wallet is basically finished now. So, I mean, that's how easy it is. They really are quick and easy to do. I had a few problems with my, with the vinyl and not testing it first, which is my fault. I should have done that. But you can see that Teflon foot really came to my rescue. The name of the company the beads and vinyl is from. All right, let me go ahead and type that in. Plaid Bow Company. I think they go plaidbowco.com. And that will take you to their site to get, some of the vinyls and to get some of those beads. There are other companies that sell them. I got those particular ones there. I know she sells out of stuff pretty quickly. All right, I want to make sure that I got everything talked about that I wanted to. And if there's any questions, go ahead and put them in here. Let's see, I see. Oh, Carrie just ordered a Cam Snap bundle. That's great. You are going to love it. Love the mini grommets. Yeah, I just think that they kind of add, just a cute little touch. Again, another little professional touch so that you can, add a keychain in here. You can also get something, let's say you put a split ring in there and attached to that is like one of those, what do you call it? Spring, spirally little things. That's a wristband. And you could just carry your wallet, on your wrist like that. Because the wallet is intended to be kind of an on-the-go thing because, you've got pockets for a few cards, a little bit of money in there, and that's all you need, and you're just on the go with it. And remember, the Marie mini wallet is going to be on sale until 7/1 at midnight. So that's July 1st at midnight. It'll be on sale. I think that I had, hold on, I'm going to grab the link for that and put it in here. So this is the link for the mini wallet. And if you want links for anything else, if you're watching on YouTube, again, if you expand that description, there's all the links. When this is over and it gets posted on Facebook, again, you're going to be able to read the description and it's going to open up with all of the links in it. Thanks, Laserbee, for your kind words. I appreciate it. Laserbee, they're the company that makes my thread system behind me. You can see it in that cabinet. Here, maybe you can see a little bit better. There's my thread system. I am going to do that as a Tuesday tip sometime this year. So talk about that some more. I'm trying to look through this too. Mortis says, please turn this into an embroidery wallet. This one, it's not really going to work like this because of the way the little pockets are and stuff. You're going to have stabilizer everywhere. This is simple sewing. You can even see with some issues I had on this one, it still turned out, cute. This is easy, simple sewing. I know a lot of people like in the hoop stuff, but everyone should know how to sew just simple straight lines and stuff, So I have many wallets that are in the hoop, but this one is just one of those that, it's just, there are things with it that would make it not a good idea for in the hoop. Carrie loves it as a sewing project. That's why I intended it to be to begin with. So let's go ahead and pick the giveaway winner. Make sure you have #garden, just like it is up here, typed in, because we're going to go to the giveaway page. And let's see. I always have, it's hard to find it. All right, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click draw, and it's going to pick a winner. Good luck, everyone. The winner is Eileen Caspers. Congratulations. So Eileen, give me contact me via an email through Embroidery Garden's website, or contact me on Facebook, and I'll get your gift card set up for you. So congratulations. And remember, follow Embroidery Garden's Facebook page. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get notifications when I go live. But if you're interested in all things Embroidery Garden, be sure that you follow me on social media. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. Go out and have a great day. Get some sewing done. Go out and play. Do whatever you want to do today. Thanks. See you soon.